This is The Blockchain Show. The Blockchain Show is a podcast that demystifies and promotes widespread adoption of cryptocurrencies and distributed ledger technology.
This is episode number 37 with Chrissa McFarlane. Later, Steve and I have a short discussion on Ethereum.
Are you looking for an easy way to buy Bitcoin or Ether on a safe, secure platform? Coinbase is the easiest place to buy and sell digital currencies. Sign up today as a friend of the Blockchain Show, and if you buy or sell $100 of Bitcoin or more, you'll earn $10 of free Bitcoin for yourself and $10 of Bitcoin to support this show. Join now using the link in this episode's show notes at theblockchainshow.com. Ledger Wallet is a smart card-based Bitcoin hardware wallet bringing maximum protection level to your Bitcoins without sacrificing usability or control. Find the link in this episode's show notes.
I don't really understand it, but you say that Ethereum is like a world computer.
Yeah.
Is it like Bitcoin? Are there miners for Ethereum?
Yeah, it's very, very similar right now, the mining process.
Is it all in-house, or is it like Bitcoin when anybody can do it?
Anybody can do it. It's a lot more decentralized than Bitcoin. Right now, the miners are really centralized in mainly China. At least the mining pools are.
For Ethereum also? Ethereum?
I was talking Bitcoin there. For Ethereum, the miners, sometimes when a coin gets really, really popular, the technology advances so rapidly that you go from like being able to mine on a laptop, right, to only people who then buy these, who then hook up these really powerful graphic cards can mine. And then it's ASICs. And then it's, then the ASICs get faster and faster and everything gets obsolete like so quickly within like 3 to 6 months. And with Bitcoin, it's like at the point now where, you have to have a lot of capital invested in it. To get started. You can't start with your laptop too. But with Ethereum, it's still relatively new. So the hashing algorithm, you can really only mine with graphics cards. And, there used to be, you could mine with graphic cards that had less than 2 megabytes of memory or 2 gigabytes of memory. But they recently upped that where you have to have more. I think what happens a lot of time, you see this proliferation of altcoins, and it's really just like the miners no longer can mine a coin because something changes. It gets too difficult to mine with less powerful equipment. And so they kind of get together with some marketing people and maybe create a new coin with, a different feature or a different that. And it's kind of just like they just want to, they want to still be able to mine, they still want to be able to make money, and they can't mine on the old coins. That's how Litecoin first started, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not phrased that way. It's phrased like, oh, look at what's happening to Bitcoin. It's taken over. Mining has become decentralized. Let's change the proof of work algorithm from SHA-256 to script, and we'll have script coins. And now it'll always be, decentralized because it's ASIC resistant, they said. And it's not like they directly say, hey, we're miners and we can't mine Bitcoin anymore. We're broke. Let's create something new. It's phrased differently, right? But it's the same thing.
Yeah. And
eventually, most altcoins were script. Most altcoins right now are script. It's just a different, hashing algorithm. And what happens is that eventually now script is, there's ASICs for script. There's been out for a while. And I forget exactly what the exact algorithm is for Ethereum, but it's one that isn't that advanced right now, which just went from graphic cards with less than 2 gigabytes of memory to graphics cards that have to require more than that. So it's still like in its infancy, kind of. But, again, you see coins right now where one of their main benefits is that you can still mine with like cheaper hardware. I don't know.
Man, why is it so expensive to send Bitcoin right now?
This is, the block size that I've been talking about. Even before the show started.
Yeah, and you were talking to Eric a little bit about that, right?
Yeah. I think the day after we talked to Eric, was it the day after? The day or 2 days after, he went to New York for Consensus 2017, where I attended the hackathon.
Right.
And him and Barry Silbert and a number of other people got together and signed the exact thing that I recommended.
Oh, dude. Thank you, Steve.
Isn't that funny?
You may have saved us. Yeah, we didn't really get to talk about the hackathon, but Johnny D, you met him there. And
it was really funny. We had somebody from the hackathon and like no mention of the hackathon.
I'm sorry.
No mention of like what he was doing there. Hey, it's fine. I don't apologize. I get a kick out of it.
Yeah, maybe we should explain what was your role in this hackathon and what made you decide to go to New York.
I want to hear more kudos about how like I may have saved Bitcoin.
I don't know if you're going to be able to get Eric Voorhees on the show again, but I definitely don't think you'll get him to admit that it was. I don't know, maybe it was like a subconscious thing. Like maybe you influenced him, and then when he went home, he thought it was his idea. One of those things.
It was actually, it's like Sergio Sergio something with an L. I can't.
Is he Russian exactly or is he Spanish?
No, Spanish. It's a Spanish last name, like Lerner or something.
Okay, cool. You know what? An even better name?
Sergio Damian Lerner.
Cool.
So he came up with this 2 megabyte plus SegWit. He's also chief scientist at Rootstock, which we can talk Rootstock a bit too. Rootstock is going live today or something, or not today, but going live soon. It's kind of like when Rootstock came out like 4 years ago or something, like maybe 3 years ago, maybe 2 years. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. And they promised to bring smart contracts to Bitcoin. Oh. And I don't know why I'm laughing, but they spent a lot of time trying to work with the existing, build their own stuff. And then Ethereum came out and they said, hey, this is pretty good. Let's go ahead and fork the Ethereum code. So they rewrote the entire Rootstock in a fork of Ethereum. And so like even the smart contracting language on Bitcoin is going to be Ethereum. And I'm laughing not because that's what Rootstock did. I'm just laughing at like there's a lot of a lot of people in the Bitcoin space turn their nose at Ethereum in a lot of respects or in a lot of ways. And it's just like their big savior Rootstock that they talked about, like, oh, Rootstock's coming to destroy Ethereum. It's like actually using Ethereum. And it's just, or like a fork of it. And it just makes me laugh.
Man, these forks are hard for me to visualize.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever gone to a fork of the road?
Oh, yeah, plenty of times.
It's a lot like that. You can go one way or the other way. And sometimes, you're in a party and half of your party goes one way and half of your party goes the other way, Mm-hmm. Or like 80% of your party goes one way and 20% goes the other way. And that's, what happens with a fork. But sometimes a fork is just like a clone. So if you were to take a piece of software, in this case Ethereum, you can actually, there's like a program that runs it. And so what you can do is take that entire program and make a copy of it and start it again with your own like twist on it. Change a few lines of code here, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's a fork too.
So when is the Anderson coin coming out?
Yeah, it's probably not that hard. You can literally you can take somebody else's work, clone it, and then change a few things and start it. Like I've done some Ethereum development. It's just, you can start a new Ethereum client, a new Ethereum chain in like, half a second. Once you know how to do it, it might take, an hour or two to learn how to do it. But then once it's done, it's a configuration file that you just call and boom, it's already done for you. Like now you have your own coin. I mean, it's completely useless, but.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few coins that started out useless that kind of caught on for a little while.
They all started out useless, right?
I suppose so.
Bitcoin was useless. Pizza Day happened. Bitcoin Pizza Day, the anniversary of when Laszlo ordered, I think it was 2 Papa John's pizza for like 10,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's just God. This is so hard. That's like pain. That must be painful for those people to think back.
I think maybe there's a little bit of that. It just was a different time, and it was only worth, it wasn't worth anything. Before that day, nobody had ever gotten anything for their Bitcoin. People mined it with their spare, uh, with their laptop, with their crappy, 5-year-old laptop. They were mining 10 or 20,000 Bitcoin a day. There's only a few people, so it was just like everything was useless at the time. Without actually spending it, it had no worth. So it took these transactions for it to be worth anything. If you couldn't do it, if you didn't do it, if there wasn't if somebody wasn't the first one to buy pizza at $10,000, 10,000 Bitcoin, it wouldn't be worth anything.
Man, so what are you excited about that's going on right now? After attending this hackathon, did you learn something new?
I don't really know if I learned anything particular at the hackathon.
Were you happy that you went?
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time.
Was it planned or was it spontaneous? I didn't know we were leaving.
It was pretty funny. Karsten Stucker was like, "Hey, you should go to Consensus, try to get a media pass." And so, I tried to get a media pass for Consensus, and they had said that, they had given out all the media passes. And so I decided I wanted to go and see a little bit of what was going on. And the hackathon was kind of, those always are kind of fun. And so I bought tickets and went.
Did you get your hack on?
Yeah, I didn't do a whole bunch of anything. It just kind of, a lot of times these hackathons are mainly like marketing-a-thons.
Yeah.
It used to be you would take like a weekend and lock yourself up with other developers for, and not sleep and just code all night. And at the end of it, you might have a product. It's weird though. In the development world, a lot of times you can use like different APIs to leverage and make a brand new product pretty darn quickly. I think in the Ethereum, in the blockchain space, it's not quite like that. There aren't these APIs where you can make like a brand. There may be. There's not a lot. The type of clients that are sponsoring these hackathons, that type of like, let's build any product by plugging a whole bunch of APIs together, and isn't really working. So a lot of these turn into like marketing-a-thons where, you have some very, very limited development on a product. And then, some good presenters and good pitches for like further study. So they're kind of a little different. Or the ones I've went to, and maybe that's just the changing landscape across all hackathons. But I don't really know.
Eric Voorhees seems to be in a whole different league of.
Oh, why do you say that?
I don't know. Maybe it's just his professionalism that I'm. I don't know. Maybe he's like a magician, kind of. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is, but it just seems like he's in all these documentaries. He goes to these very important blockchain meetings where they talk about block size.
Yeah. Well, it's if you were to, I think in every single blockchain book, the first real person's name is going to be Eric Voorhees.
Yeah.
There's two like fake names, and that's Satoshi Nakamoto and Laszlo, the guy who bought pizza. Those are your two like screen names. Maybe Laszlo is his real name. I don't even know, but it was a screen name.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there's Satoshi Dice. There is Eric Voorhees, the marketing guy, non-tech guy, who bought Satoshi Dice and then marketed it, and it was the over 50% of the transaction on the Bitcoin network. And he's the first name, the first true name in Bitcoin.
You should call him like a blockchain god.
Yeah.
Kind of like Chris Cornell was a grunge god, and we lost another one. Now all we got. What's up?
I was always surprised at how well Audioslave has held up. I don't know why. I like Audioslave.
Oh, dude, I love them so much. I've been playing it nonstop.
It's been a while since you've been on the show, though.
I know. I don't have any place in these conversations. That's why.
I don't know about that. Yeah, you want to do the sound anyways, mainly, right?
It's what I feel at home.
Did you know that one of the people that I met at the hackathon was like, I went up and like kind of introduced myself to the room, and this person like shows me her phone and says like, I listen. You're the person who introduced me to blockchain, to Bitcoin, with our podcast. You know, her phone, and like, is this the podcast? She's like, and somebody recommended it to me, and she said, oh, I had to go back and listen to episode 0. And so you introduced somebody to blockchain, and I met them at the hackathon.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Chrissa McFarlane. I'm founder and CEO of Patientory. My team and I, we're building a health information exchange network for patient health data on the blockchain.
So what does patient records on the blockchain mean?
Yeah, so we currently integrate into centralized hospital electronic medical record systems via our APIs. And from that, we're able to secure the data through encryption protocols and sharding it on the blockchain network.
And did you say sharding it?
Yes.
What does that mean?
So that it's really the process of de-identifying that patient information.
Okay.
So their names are not, stored on that. It's really housed in that healthcare siloed infrastructure. But we're able to, put that information and assign a unique identifier to each patient so that their information is accessible on the network. And regardless of what hospital system they go to, they can have, that information available to them via their profile.
Is it easy to get buy-in from the patient, from the insurance and the hospitals and the doctors, or who are the main beneficiaries of your product, and who has been hardest to kind of get to see the benefits of this?
Yeah, well, we benefit, everyone in the system. Everyone is a patient. You have the hospital systems, and then you have the payer side, which are the insurance guys. We sell directly to hospitals. So they're our paying customers. We sell as a cybersecurity solution, population health management solution for hospital systems. The end users being the doctors, the providers, and of course the patients.
I attended a hackathon in Tennessee a few months ago, maybe a year ago, 6 months to a year ago. I don't remember.
Distributed.
What's that?
Yeah. With distributed.
Yeah, I did, and I did some sort of. I think I worked with CliniShare. I tried to, just a demo of putting advanced directives on the blockchain. So that was kind of my hackathon project that I did there. But this is different. The healthcare space is one of the big, still, blockchain still seems really relevant to it, along with like supply chain and maybe document identity management type solutions. Identity management is really tough. How does your product handle those type of things?
Document management?
No, identity management. So are the users in control of their identity? Is it more of like the hospital, you're just storing the information? Or I'm just, sometimes I miss what the product actually is. I'm just trying to grasp my head around it. Sorry about that.
We're secure in the hospital information. One of the biggest breaches in history happened about 2 weeks ago with the NHS out of UK. because they're on these cloud-based siloed infrastructure. So we sell that as a value proposition to the hospitals. But the benefit of that is really the population health management side, where their doctors, we're assisting their doctors in treating patients, and patients actually have access to their information that's necessarily not accessible to them. And it takes about 6 weeks or more to request that information and receive it via a PDF. So it's really the management of that information and using it, taking it a step further to help providers, doctors diagnose and treat their patients and coordinate care with their patients for improved health outcomes.
Yeah, so the Don't Worry, was it the Don't Worry virus, or what are they?
It's called the WannaCry.
WannaCry, virus. That's what it is, WannaCry. And that, it kind of encrypted all of the medical records in the UK and said if you sent a certain small percentage, a small amount of Bitcoin, it was like under $300 to an address, that they would unencrypt your files. It's been all over the news. It's been pretty newsworthy topic. And apparently, when people even sent money to the hackers or whatnot, they still didn't get their encrypted files back. So, what happened to the hospital's records?
They were held ransom. That's really what happened to that. And it's like it was a unwinnable fight, because these hospitals are on outdated, technology, and we see this virus, it's a crypto virus, come in and be able to overtake these systems. And they did this to over 200,000 systems globally. So that's really big. And luckily it was able to be stopped, before it did real harm, because hospitals in the UK, surgeries were canceled, emergency.
Sounds like real harm to me.
Yeah, emergency, ambulances were rerouted, which, luckily there were no fatalities due to that, but it could have been worse.
Oh, that's a relief. So that there were no fatalities, but just some major inconveniences for the hospitals and patients.
Yeah.
So how would your system help prevent that? It would be more secure. Do you require, I think the main cause of that was people were using like Windows XP, yes. And there was a backdoor, a known backdoor that was released recently that, the NSA had or something like that. Certain tools that these companies, they provide backdoors. This may be a little off topic, yeah. But how do you prevent those sort of breaches?
It's really in the infrastructure of blockchain, right? You have the hashing algorithms that are, it's constantly updated every 10 minutes. So we see if someone in this instance was trying to access, a hospital's data system, it would have been alerted immediately. And just with the technology there, it's really impossible, for a hacker to get a hold of that data on actually multiple nodes. So once we start to build a network, we see the integrity of that network increase against cyber attacks.
You said 10 minutes. I assume that means you're using the Bitcoin blockchain as the anchor?
It's Ethereum.
Oh, you're using Ethereum, and it takes 10 minutes to... Where does the 10 minutes come in?
In terms of... What do you mean? For the hashing?
Yeah, you said you update every 10 minutes, or I believe that's... Yeah, so you had just said when you were talking that it takes 10 minutes. But regardless, I guess, you're using Ethereum, so...
It's a private instance on the Ethereum.
So there's like a smart contract that runs, or
what do you mean No, it's a private permission blockchain.
Oh, you have like a fork of Ethereum.
Yeah, well, they do. It's not necessarily a fork, but it's a private. Yeah, it's a private permission. Yeah,
you fork the repo, not like a fork of like Classic versus Ethereum.
It's not a public blockchain.
Okay, so it's a private Ethereum clone is what it is, right? But yours runs every 10 minutes.
Yeah, the block time.
Oh, the block time is 10 minutes on your private Ethereum clone.
Yes.
Ah, cool. How many hospitals do you have signed up for this right now?
We have 8 in the pipeline, of course. We're currently doing our token sale to further develop out our product.
Yeah, so you got the token sale coming up. I guess, is there still some pre-sale slots open or no?
Pre-sale ends on the 30th.
Okay, so you got, when are we releasing? So you may, by the time I release, still be able to do a pre-sale, but you would have to hurry. Tell me a little bit about your token sale. What do you get for it? What does it cost? Those type of things.
So for the pre-sale, we're starting out with a 40 Ether minimum, and it's in exchange for our PTOY token. So PTOY tokens are, the fuel for the platform that allocates network storage on the Patientory blockchain network. So it's used both for hospital systems and patients, especially patients who want to, store an abundance of their health information. And it's also used in smart contracts for quality measures on the health system side.
I'm reading a little bit. Is there some sort of connection with storage as well, or how do you pronounce storage? Do you pronounce it storage or just storage?
Storage.
Storage. So the CEO of Storage is involved in some way? What's the partnership with Storage?
He's on our advisory board.
Oh, okay.
He's able to provide us with technical guidance, from his experience building his company in the blockchain space.
What's your genesis story into the crypto space? How are you interested in blockchain, or how are you interested in maybe the merge between blockchain and the medical field or the patient record field?
Definitely. So I'm technically, a healthcare domain expertise. I've been in healthcare over 10 years. I started out doing research at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York City, then went on to do research for the USDA. Was more interested in the application of healthcare on the business side, and consulted for health IT technology companies, one being an electronic medical record implementation company. Then I ventured out, got poached to work for a digital healthcare startup that was more or less focused on telemedicine. And, one of the biggest pain points we had was actually getting a hold of patient data so that providers, outside of their primary care or just specialists in general could actually successfully treat a patient without having to do a lot of the duplicate tests or just, to see the patient's history. And that's what really sparked, that transition into starting Patientory and being able to research different technologies that would, have the greatest effect on the industry in driving us towards, better care.
What are the big pain points and what are the big problems with not having really good and easy way to share patient records between different hospitals, between maybe prescription fillers? Does that get really hairy where, you have to do duplicate tests, or you may not have information in a timely manner, and so there's misdiagnoses? Is some of that stuff going to be taken care of by your system?
Exactly, it is. So about 80% of U.S. healthcare spent is in regards to these issues, especially within the chronically ill population. So a third of our country is already diagnosed with one or more chronic illnesses, and we see a need for better care coordination to really drive those outcomes.
I got an unrelated question, but maybe why are we so chronically ill in the United States? Why are a third of our population? Is that normal? It seems awfully high.
That isn't normal, and this report was actually released by the CDC. So that equates to about a little over 117 million Americans, and we just feel that as a society, we just need more, awareness around our health. We need to empower patients more to actually take an active role in their health and make better decisions. And one of the ways we can achieve that is through innovative technology.
It's certainly doing some innovation in the technology space. As far as is medical records like the end goal, or is there more expansions to Patientory?
Yeah, it's really an expansion. It's really assisting the industry in being able to execute, whether it's from machine learning where we're aggregating that data to help doctors diagnose their patients, which in turn decreases provider burnout, or it's just from a patient engagement standpoint where patients are receiving information, they are joining a community just to empower them and learn more how to deal with their chronic illness, or from a wellness perspective, how to better take care of themselves.
As a patient, do I have full control over my health records, or does it still stay with the hospital?
That's the point. So it's like it's stored in the hospital, but it's not a patient health record. We're trying to get away from terms like EMR, EHR, PHR, which are so siloed in sense because it means it's ownership to one individual, to a more universal health record system where a patient can choose to share that information with different parties.
What's the market for these healthcare records? What sort of savings would a hospital have by adopting Patientory?
Definitely a decrease in their IT expenditures. Last year, overall the industry spent over $6 billion in breaches due to lack of technology to secure private patient health information. So we see having an infrastructure like that definitely decrease those costs on a macro level, but also it assists in, these different hospital systems being able to improve their technology workflow.
You're in the States now. Is that kind of the hospitals that you have signed up, or is it kind of like a global thing? Is it easier to implement this in places that have universal healthcare versus the system in the States?
Yes, we definitely see it's easier on an international forefront, and we have international partners in the pipeline. But the great thing about implementing here in the U.S., due to the regulations, we can really build a lean and agile company that addresses these things because they are necessary to really have an effective and efficient healthcare economy.
Due to the regulations, you're able to be agile. Could you give me an example of that?
In the sense of, we see that the complexity is actually an opportunity in the space. So a lot of it is like HIPAA requirements, and with the blockchain technology, there are different standards and processes that you have to abide by in regards to HIPAA, and it's more or less a checkbox process, but they're there in place to really regulate who has access to the data and make sure that it's not being used in a harmful way. And we can apply this infrastructure to other companies that, are lacking in that regulatory aspect.
What companies? What type of sectors? You're talking non-medical?
Geographic countries like South America or, just other parts of the world.
I'm sorry, they said companies, but you said countries.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. What are you looking to raise in your ICO?
We have a maximum of $9.1 million, and that does not include bonuses. We're raising. We have a maximum token supply of 70 million for the crowd sale.
I'm guessing that you have tokens. I think you call them what? PTOY? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So the PTOY tokens, is it TOI or
PTOY?
PTOY. Yep. Okay. So the PTOY tokens. Is that so? The hospital has to purchase PTOY tokens in order to store these medical records, in order to do the obfuscation of identity, and then to store them, and that's kind of what gives the PTOY value, or that's why they're valuable. Is that, am I thinking about this right, or is that not correct?
Yeah. So the PTOY tokens are access to the platform. That's essentially the asset that they would, users would need to be able to use the platform. The Patientory platform.
What are what uses specifically? What transactions or use cases?
It's to store their health information, particularly for patients, but for hospitals, it's the storage of that health data and smart contracts to really regulate their quality metrics.
Talk a little bit more about how the smart contracts would regulate their quality metrics.
So it's, setting conditions to really test the population health management. So let's say, they want to know whether or not they'll be penalized, if they receive a certain percentage of patients that are readmitted to their hospital. So that's something that can be tested as a quality metrics via the smart contract.
And so these P2A tokens, in addition to providing the fuel for the basic functionalities, there's some advanced functionalities, metric data, algorithmic type of research that these hospitals can. So you're a tech person as well as a business person. What are some of the other accomplishments of the members on your team as far as their tech skills?
So my CTO, he's our our developer, our product app guy. He's developed software for healthcare technology companies for over 20 years. And he did his own initiative in creating a fintech blockchain company that focused on notarization. And then our other developers have been working on our algorithms that connect into hospital EMR systems. And they work with big names, big health systems, and names such as Medtronic and Verizon.
Okay. So the PTOY is an ERC20 token, but it's not an ERC20 token that's on the Ethereum blockchain. It's an ERC20 token that's on the Patientory blockchain.
Repeat that one more time.
PTOY adheres to the ERC20, which is
yes.
Okay, but it's not an ERC, it's not tied to an Ethereum address. It's tied to the private Ethereum blockchain that is Patientory, or do you kind of have a system where the PTOY token is actually on the actual Ethereum blockchain?
So it's not on the public Ethereum blockchain.
Okay.
It's on a private Ethereum instance, and it's an ERC20 token.
Okay, so I can't buy or sell them on the public Ethereum blockchain unless somebody built a wrapper or something.
Yeah.
Okay. You think you'll sell out at 9.1 million, or?
Well, we've been doing pretty well with our pre-sale, so we'll see that maximum and how that translates.
What are some of in the larger cryptocurrency space, some of the larger products or companies or projects that you have an interest in?
That we have an interest in, that we admire? That
you personally admire, that for some, is there anything in part of my show is I like to talk about the larger crypto space, what do you think about 2 megabyte blocks plus SegWit, that type of stuff. Do you have an opinion on 2 meg plus SegWit? That seems to be, did you hear about the new agreement compromise that was signed at Consensus yesterday?
I did. I still have to look into it. I didn't know too many details into it, but I know, it's been a lot of buzz around the conference.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that there's some sort of end to the stalemate there. I think that the quote unquote civil war is really not good for Bitcoin or the space in general. And to have that, put that behind us in whatever way, shape, or form would be great. I personally side on the bigger block side, but I'm okay with any sort of compromise that gets this moving forward. But just in general, you're at Consensus right now. What's the buzz going on there? What are people talking about?
I mean, it's really about Ethereum right now, and we've seen the 2,000% growth in just a couple of days, and it's every conversation you hear is how Ethereum has been doing pretty well, and they're rising.
It is unbelievable. The price increase and just there's a term, it's called the flippening, when people lose confidence in Bitcoin as the main cryptocurrency and switch to a different one, flip over. And I think here Ethereum has a pretty good shot of being the cryptocurrency that most people have confidence and faith in. I mean, at Consensus, there's how many people are in Ethereum Enterprise Alliance? The major corporations, 200 maybe now.
Yeah. They're just focused on growing that out.
Did you attend Ethereal at all too, or no?
I did not.
You did not. What are some of the talks? What's your favorite or second favorite talk that you attended?
The keynote was really good. With the Coinbase, the CoinDesk guys. Wait, hold on. I have to think about that because it's been so busy. I attended so many.
Just make a note to Ethan. You can cut out this silence, and Ethan's our sound guy.
Yeah, so I was really intrigued by the opening remarks by Kevin Worth, the CEO of CoinDesk, and how he really was able to, set a timeline and roadmap for the state of blockchain and the opportunities to come. In the past 8 years, the industry has really grown and received interest from different sectors. So I'm really excited to see, the next phase of growth and development.
What was on the roadmap? Like, what's the next phase?
It was a general guideline of where blockchain has come and where it has the potential to go.
Cool. So are there any projects or companies that you just have a lot of respect for, or think that they're doing something unique or interesting in the field, besides Patientory?
I really like what Factum is doing, especially applying it to, developing countries and land titles. I think it's a very, beneficial use case. In being able to just disrupt an entire government and see positive changes from that.
Yeah, Factum is definitely an interesting one. Does Patientory have any interest in getting in the Cobra game at all?
Cobra?
Yeah, it's I don't know. When you I'm going to say no, so maybe it's a bad question, so we'll just edit this one out. But okay. Cobra is the in the States, when you lose your job or whatever, you're required to, your insurance is required to offer, continuing coverage, but the patient has to pay, 20% administration fee in addition, and that goes to whoever's the Cobra provider. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Or do you know what I'm talking about now or no?
Yes, I know you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was something blockchain related.
Yeah, could you blockchainify that? I know that 20% seems like an awful lot for a standard, just maintain this person's insurance in the same way that it's always been, and that's what I think you could blockchainify that process and cut down costs dramatically.
I think from an administrative standpoint, yes, but I still think it's going to be the same in regards to the process and how that works. Just because it's a service and more or less not an infrastructure issue.
So you consider Patientory maybe just really, all the everything's going to stay the same, from a patient's perspective. Just that the infrastructures that doctors use would change a little bit. Is there a public or a patient interface? What benefit would a patient see? Okay, sorry. They'll be able to get test results faster. Is that one of the benefits, or what are some of the benefits?
Yeah, access to their health information overall. They'll be able to share that with their caregivers, other doctors and physicians, patient engagement. So they'll be able to have a community as well. So that's one of the features of the platform, to really talk about, health wellness or coping with chronic illnesses.
We've got about a half hour. Is there anything that I'm missing? Anything that you want to talk about? Anything that I didn't mention?
I think that's it. I don't have anything else to discuss. We talked about the crowd sale, the pre-sale that's going on, the aim of the company. I think that's about it. Okay.
When will I experience the benefits of Patientory? When am I going to see some sort of benefit for this? What's the time scale on that?
Well, we'll be in private implementations. So we're looking to, as soon as we go live, we're hoping the next 6 months publicly, we can start getting patients on the platform and start creating those communities around patient engagement and learning and dealing with certain illnesses and wellness.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, telling us about Patientory. I really like, any sort of company that's innovating in this space, and you guys certainly are.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, Stephen. I really appreciated chatting with you today.
All right. Thanks, Chrissa.
The Blockchain Show is a team effort by Heather Sullivan, Steve Anderson, Ethan Kinderknecht, and Sarah Hempfling. You can visit us at theblockchainshow.com.